ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कलामयं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपां सागरजातं सहगणा रघुनाथं विकान्तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नाम्ने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So, welcome all of you for the day 5 session. So, we'll do a quick recap of day 4. On Sunday, Prabhuji had taken the topic, who is God? On the day 3, we spoke about the topic, does God exist? And day 4, we will do a quick recap what Srila Prabhuji had said. First, we saw the definition of God. Definition of God, we said like God should be source of everything, and then cause of all causes, and then he asked the meaning like God and what all said, creator, maintainer and destroyer. So this sums up the definition of God. And then we discussed about the 3 aspects: Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Brahman is a effulgence which is spread across, that is everywhere. And then Paramatma, the God who says that we are residing within our heart, that is super soul. Even during the discussion of understanding the body, what we said generator is super soul, Paramatma. And the third one, Bhagavan. So these are not 3 different person or 3 different aspects, it's the same about Bhagavan. So how do we understand? We saw the analogy of sun. So the example that was given is, there are a lot of pots with water freezer and the sun is there, and the sun's reflection is there on all the pots and plus sunshine. So sun, the analogy gives how to understand Bhagavan, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. So sun we can understand as an analogy of Bhagavan, and then the reflection in each pot can be understood of Paramatma because he is there in everybody's heart. And then the effulgence, the Brahman, that we can understand as sunshine. So now this was the thing we understood. Then Bhagavan, why is called Bhagavan, God? Because of the 6 opulences. So what are the opulences? Riches. So everybody knows Krishna, like he had 16,108 wives, queens, and then each one had their own palace. So we can imagine, even if there is a richest person in the world, Nobody can be as rich as God. And then strength. Whatever weightlifting, whatever one can do, nobody can lift Govardhan. And then fame. Even after 5,000 years, we can see people still talking about the butter thief. And then beauty. All again, in Vrindavan he had 16,000 gopis. And then knowledge. Knowledge, we can see that anybody can know about only themselves, but Krishna, God can know about everybody. And for the Bhagavad Gita, he didn't have to prepare the previous day before the war. He just gave the instructions. So knowledgeable. And then renunciation. The moment we talk about renunciation and we'll say Krishna, nobody can understand Krishna and renunciation. But we can see when in Vrindavan, the gopis were asking him to stay back. Even after they loved him so much, he could easily give them up and go to Mathura. So that way he can give up, he is not attached to anything. So having said this, we also understood Bhagavan is as like it's full of emotions. So that is why we also have emotions. And God would like to have this love, exchange, relationship. So we need to understand He is a person. Having said that, He is all attractive. So whoever has this opulence, what it makes a person attractive. So if Bhagavan is having all the opulence, he is all attractive. So all attractive, the other name is Akarshan karne wala. So that is Krishna. So Krishna means all attractive. So that itself makes us understand who is God. Then further we saw what is the position of demigods and God. So there are 33 crores of data, but what is the position of each and what is the supreme person? We spoke about Lord Shiva, how like he says, tells Parvati, please take name of Ram. Like instead of taking the entire Vishnu Sahasram, you can just chant 3 names of Ram. And then Ganesha, he wrote Bhagavad Gita and is asking us to study. So that way we can see Krishna is a supreme personality, is a supreme person and is called supreme personality of Godhead because he is the head of all Devatas as well. So each and every person or Devata, we see that they are happy if we serve God. So nobody need to be worried. What shall I do? Like if somebody will feel like if I don't worship Ganesha, he will get angry. No, all are happy because finally we are worshipping the person whom they want us to worship. So from that we concluded that by worshipping the supreme person, we are actually doing the watering the root, and then by watering the root we can get the complete tree, the whatever we can achieve. So the last few days, what we have done, 4 days, out of this, these are the 5 topics we want to cover in this Bhagavad Gita crash course. And we have covered Ishvara and Jiva. So if you see the first day we started with the introduction and then we saw about soul, proof of existence, that everything is covered under Jiva. Then we saw does God exist, and then we saw who is God. So those topics covers the subject matter Ishvara. Today, though it may seem like we are going to cover 3 topics, these are small and interrelated. So once we go through, we will see like will practically tell us what is happening to us and why it is happening, why we are as it is. So we will start today's topic, Prakriti, material nature. So when we spoke about the soul actually, Prabhuji said like it moves moves from one body to another with the subtle body, the mind, the false ego and intelligence. Now which body it is going to move? Okay, it has left one body. Which body it is going to move? So if we ask the question, there are 84 lakhs bodies available. Scriptures say it can occupy any of this 84 lakh species. So as this picture shows, first is the cycle of how this person grows, and then below you can see all the different types of species. He can enter into any of the body. Now the next question will be, which body, what is this 84 lakhs? So we will try to understand from this verse of Padma Purana. Jalaja Navalakshani Stavara Laksha Vimsati Kramayo Rudra Sankhya Pakshinam Dasha Lakshanam Trimsa Lakshani Pashava Chatur Lakshani Manusha. So we will try to understand line by line. Jalaja means the entities which are residing in water. So that is 9 lakhs. 9 lakhs water animals. And then Stavara. Stavara means situated in only one location, doesn't move. So what are those plants? They cannot move. So how many species? 20 lakhs. So if you ask the modern scientists, they have list of botanical names of plants. They have maximum of 70,000. But we can see our Vedas have already declared there are 20 lakhs of species. That too only in the plants. And then Kramayo Rudra Sankhya. So what is that? Rudra means 11 lakhs. Who is that? Insects. So this insects, we can say there are numerous types of insects. So Veda says there are 11 lakhs of insects. Then further we go Pakshinam, that's a Lakshanam, that is straightforward. 10 lakhs of birds, different types of birds. Then animals, Trimsal Lakshani, 30 lakhs Pashava. So these Pashus are 30 lakhs. And then Chatur Lakshani Manusha. So when we talk about, when we add this comes to 84 lakhs. So this 84 lakhs, what is the difference between each and every species? The level of consciousness. If you see, the plants are situated, and there are few plants, if you go near it, it will try to move also. Not much, but little bit. We have studied also in the science, little bit about the flower, touch me not flowers. Yeah. I didn't understand, like different species of human beings. Yeah, I'm coming to that. So it is classified based on the consciousness. So we are talking about 4 lakhs of types of consciousness. Even devatas, demigods come under that. So that way each and every level of, right from the higher conscious to the lower conscious human life comes under that. That is why it is for us to fathom the number, it will be difficult, but in the Vedas it's already said 4 lakhs. So that is the way the species, so many species are there across each and every type, whether you consider water animals. So whatever research the scientist does, they cannot exceed this number, whatever has been mentioned in the Vedas. So now let's understand about Prakriti, the 3 modes of material nature. So now this body, how do we select our body? The soul is going to move to another body. From this body is going to get old. Just like the cloths get torn. After that what happens? We take different type of cloth. So when you go to a shop, there are different type of clothes. One price is like maybe 10 lakhs and another is something maybe 1,000. So different clothes are available, and you can purchase based on the money that you have. So similarly, depending on the activities that we perform, we get the next body. So the question again will be, who influences activities, what we perform? Another thing that we can see is, if you see two people, their behavior, nature is different. Any two people we cannot match, we cannot see. Even in case of twins, the looks might be little bit, but there are difference. Plus their desire. So even between twins, there is a difference. And then, where is this variety coming from? So the variety is coming from material modes of material nature. This is described in detail in 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So we will take help of those verses and try to understand more about modes of material nature. So if you have seen this picture, this must be a familiar one. In Bhagavad Gita, everyone must have seen. What is this? These three ladies are being displayed. Each one is having the thread like a puppeteer. We must have seen puppet shows. The puppeteer is having the thread and under him the dolls dances. So these three modes which we are going to talk about in detail is like a puppeteer. It is holding the threads for all the entities, particularly the human beings, which is going to make us dance. So that is the one that makes each one have different nature, different behavior and everything. We'll try to understand this further. We are talking about three modes, which we'll talk about in detail. Sattva gun, Rajagun, Tamagun. How do we understand how it creates variety? Only three are there. It may be, if you like know the Boolean 1, 0, maximum 9 times comes. But we are not talking only about whether the particular mode is present or not. It is a percentage of the mode. For example, one person may have 10% of mode of goodness and another person will have different percentage. So this gives infinite number. This can be compared to the colors. Basic colors, everyone knows, red and yellow, blue. Sometimes it's a RGB in case of television and all. They say RGB is the basic color used to bring up all the colors. So these three colors, when we are talking about, as we see any combination, it has number of combination which can give infinite colors depending on the percentage of each color. Any color, if you see, these are the basic colors and it will give rise to any color that we want. Similarly, the modes, these three modes will give varieties of our nature, behavior. That is why we don't see any two people similar. Like you cannot say these two have the same nature, somewhat similar, but the exact similarity cannot be at all. So that is the reason even the look, if you see, that influences. No two persons look alike. And similarly their desire, nature, everything is different. So now we will go to understand one by one mode. Sattva-gun. Sattva-gun, what it means, what it does to a person. It's given in 14th chapter, 6th shloka. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakasha sakam anamayam sukha sangena badnati jnana sangena chanaga. Chanaga means sinless one, whom it is addressed by Krishna to Arjuna. He is saying, O sinless one, the mode of goodness being purer than the others is illuminating and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. So these are the basic qualities of the person who is in mode of goodness. Happiness, he is always happy and full of knowledge. Again, we need to understand. We cannot say this person is in mode of goodness, that person. This percentage in a day also it varies. Many times we see a person when he wakes up, the majority influence on his mode of goodness. So what they do, they try to read. So people who don't know about scripture, what they do, they read newspapers, turn television on or read, try to gain some knowledge. So that's not they can't differentiate material knowledge, spiritual knowledge, but they want to know more. So that is prevalent, like that mode of goodness is more during the morning time, we can say. Plus, person to person it will differ. Only for our understanding, I am trying to analyze a day. And then when you see the afternoon, the mode of passion is more. So people tend to work more during that time. And then night, the ignorance prevalent, so we try to sleep, the mode of ignorance. So that is a major influence if one wants to understand what is this mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. Now we will try to go in depth. As I said, any person cannot be differentiated whether he is in mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance. We will try to analyze a family who we can say are more on the mode of goodness. So, how a day in their life works. So, this family, if we see, the very first principle is to be peaceful. This family is, if you see, they are peaceful. They are not much bothered. Many things doesn't disturb them. So the peaceful is the one. Second is cleanliness. They try to be clean and watchful of everything. So these principles guide their entire day. So when the husband, the family head, what happens? He keeps a alarm for waking up in the morning, and the alarm sounds off, and then he wakes up. Peacefully he wakes up, he does the initial morning course, and then later on his wife also gets up, he wakes up the children, and in this case the husband does a basic job, and when the children wake up, he dresses them, prepares them for going to school. He is also getting ready himself to go to office. And the wife is also ready with the breakfast for everyone to have and to go to their school and office. So the life is very calm. And then this person, because he has woken up on time, is able to go to office on time. The children, before going to school, he gives some moral values to them, and then he sends them to school. They also reach school on time. And now in the office also is peacefully doing his work. Not like I want to work more, he does a overtime job, or he works very minimal, talks over here and there, nothing. Like he's peaceful, does his job very this one calmly, and then he tries to come home on time. When he comes home on time, children have come at home, and then there is his wife waiting for him. So here the entire day has been peaceful. Now what they do? They try to go to some place which is peaceful. They don't go to some parties or movies. They try to go to a garden, scenic place, temple. They try to do charity. So this is a normal way family, how if it is in mode of goodness, how they behave. Now we will see what the scriptures tells about Rajagun, that is mode of passion. So this sloka goes this way. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi trishna sanga samudbhavam tan nibadnati kaunteya karma sangena dehina. So what is it? The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings. So here the word Trishna is used. So they are in illusion. O son of Kanti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. So now we will try to understand a family in mode of passion, how generally they tend to behave. In the earlier family, the mode of goodness, what they do is simple living, high thinking. Their living is very peaceful. Simple living, high thinking is the formula of a family who are in mode of goodness. Now, this family, when we say, as we see the definition, bound to material fruitive, they are always passionate, desire to do something, and generally, what is the desire? To earn more money and then enjoy more. So, this is the principle of people who are in more mode of passion. So because of this, how the family life begins. Here also there will be an alarm set up. The man wants to reach office at 8 o'clock. So he has to be ready by 7:30. And the alarm is kept at 6 o'clock. So he keeps the alarm buzzes off. But what he does, he's tired. The entire day he has been slogging so much, and even it is said the mode of passion makes the mind go on working. Even when he is sleeping, he is not actually taking rest. The mind is actually working. So in the morning, immediately he switches off the alarm. Another 15 minutes more. So that way he goes on, the sleep extends. And finally, he wakes up. Hey, 7 o'clock, I have to leave at 7:30 to reach at 8 o'clock. It's not possible. Then he runs here and there. And then he sees beside his wife is also sleeping. So he says, wake up, what are you doing? I have to go to office. She says, you have to go to office. What am I supposed to do? So that way she continues sleep, and then after him shouting, she wakes up. Now he tries to go to take a shower, and in the bathroom the geyser is not working. He asks why, what has happened? Yesterday there was a sound, it exploded, it's not working now. What shall I do? So now what I am supposed to do? Should I take bath in the cold water? So this kind of fight goes on. Because of the passion, this fight will go on. And then later the children are woken up. What happens? The child says, today my stomach is paining, I don't want to go to school. No, you have to go to school, come on, wake up. Then they try to do some toast of this bread, because there is no time to cook. So some bread is taken from the fridge and they try to toast it. And then the toast is too much, it becomes blackish in color. But there is no choice. They have to eat whatever has come out and then rush to office. Now, instead of reaching office at 8 o'clock, he is leaving the home at 8 o'clock. Now he is reaching the office. Boss is shouting at him. And what he has to do? Peacefully listen. Because now he is like a dog. He wants more from the boss. If he shouts back, the boss will not give him what he wants. So he has to listen whatever the boss says. So peacefully he has to listen, no choice. Internally he will be cursing himself at home. Unnecessarily I woke up late, my wife is also not supporting, and then he'll be somehow he'll do his work. Now compared to the mode of goodness person, what this person does, he goes on working. Boss is not happy when he's trying to leave home. Boss will say, no, you work more, then only you'll get promotion. So he goes on working. Now he gets a call from his home. Wife says, where are you? You're not come home yet. He says, wait, I'll come. And then he pacifies her, and then he, at the end, like he goes home late. What happens? He pacifies her, tries to pacify, and then now trying to pacify. Earlier they were fighting each other. Now trying to pacify, they remember how they first met, and now the loving exchange is going on. Now suddenly the child comes. The child comes and shows his report card. In the report card, there are 3 red marks, failed. Now this person who was actually in a peaceful mode, he shouts, what is this? Your children. See what marks they have got. And then this wife says, why my children? It is your children. Why they are not your children? So this fight again starts. Because of the mode of passion, it is going to give this kind of anger, desires, and this fight starts. Now, this entire day, what we saw is anger, fight. This is a thing that is going in the mode of passion. So here, what is the formula? What is the formula of mode of goodness? Simple living, high thinking. Here, money is honey. Because they want more and more money to enjoy more, and they feel if they get more money, they can enjoy. So they go on getting more and more money and then try to enjoy. So here, even this is a way of their living. Now what they eat. So this kind of people, if they like, we'll talk about two friends when they went for some restaurant. Basically, one person was a Sattvic person who used to go to temples and all, but he was invited by a close friend who was more in the mode of passion. So now he takes him to the restaurant. The restaurant, like it was a winter season, but even then the AC was kept in a high because AC means temperature lower than outside. So even if it is chill, it has to be turned on that much. So both are sitting and both are ordering the food that they want. This person, this devotee person, orders some kind of food. He tells the waiter, and he's okay. Yes, wait, order. The other person who is ordering says it has to be hot. Put more masala. It has to be very this one not plain. Goes on giving instruction to the waiter, and then finally the food comes. The devotee eats the food and he is just peaceful. The other person who has ordered the food, hot food, he eats it and its eyes becomes red. He's sweating, even in that AC he's sweating because he has ordered that much masala, and then he's eating that hot food. And then what he does, he says, Maza aa gaya. Because he wants to torment himself, and then he feels that torture what he has gone through, and then when it subsides he feels he has enjoyed more. So they feel just putting oneself into suffering, and if the suffering reduces they feel they are happy. So here the principle is somehow reduce your miseries and then you feel you are happy. Reducing the miseries is the one they are worried about. So that makes them happy. And then what about charity? Even the people in passion, they give charity. So here there is this one story in Mayapur, how a passionate person donated. So a rich person, this passionate person was invited by the temple president, and then they showed the prasadam hall. See, these are prasadam hall. There are no fans, so we would like to request some donation from you. So this person immediately donates, saying, "Take this donation. You can put the fan," and then after he stays there for 2-3 days, and then he goes away. After a month or so, he visits again the prasadam hall. He comes to this temple basically. That is saying, did you put the fans? Yeah, he's seeing the fans are all there. And then what he's saying, see, these fans are there, but you should put my name so that my name is visible, and this one people know that I have donated. So immediately all the temple president management agrees, and then they arrange everything to put the names on the fan. So fan, as you see, it has 3 fins. So they put on the one of the fin. So he was staying there for 2-3 days, and then this person, after 2-3 days while he was going, he saw that fan had the name. So he was happy. But he said, see, you have put only the name on one fin. It's better you put in all the 3 fins, because we don't know, people might notice or not notice. Plus, in between the circle also you put the name. And then he was about to leave. Then before starting the car, he said, one more thing. You don't use it much, because if you use it, it will be rotating. You won't be able to see the name. So it's better you don't use the fan much. So here the charity is being done based on expectation. It is not a selfless charity. The passion charity, it's given in Bhagavad Gita how a person in charity is donating, how a person in ignorance is donating, and how a person in goodness is performing donation. So now, having seen the life of a person in passion, now we'll move on to the mode of ignorance. Tamastva ajnana jam vidhi mohanam sarva dehina Pramadanasya nidrapis tan nibadnati bharat. So here he is saying, O son of Bharata, know that mode of darkness born of ignorance is a delusion of all embodied living entities. The result of this mode are madness, indolence and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul. So we saw person in goodness, simple living, high thinking, and then passion, money is honey. And here, what is the life? Here there is no life at all. Because here he'll go on sleeping. The first person kept the alarm, he woke on time. The second person, at least he woke up late. This person you will see go on sleeping because his mode of ignorance. That is the influence of the mode of ignorance. And then the mode of passion we saw, though they have miseries, when it lightens a bit, they are happy. Now misery has reduced. And this person, even in miseries, is happy. Because he is happy only if miseries come. That is mode of ignorance. So even the food that is said in Bhagavad Gita, how the mode of ignorance people eat, stale, pungent food, is happy. Because more miseries is in the happiest mood. That way. So that is the way mode of ignorance is to be understood. Again, as we said, the percentage of goodness, passion, ignorance varies. So these are the extreme examples of the families we saw. But in each and every place it will differ based on the amount of percentage. So now we will try to summarize what we learned about the three modes. So Sattvagun, it is full of knowledge. What about Rajagun? Unlimited desires. Tamagun, it's only madness. Then simple living for the mode of goodness. Rajagun, fruitive activity, more results, more money for enjoyment. Tamagun, he doesn't care, laziness. And then Sattvagun, conditioned by sense of happiness. They are always happy, we can see that. Here it is more attraction between man and woman. And then Tamagun, it's sleep and intoxication. So these are the three things that we can understand. Now we can see under this influence how a person does any activity. All living beings in material world are conditioned by the three modes basically. Now the conditioned soul, we'll try to understand the characteristic of the conditioned soul. The soul being conditioned acts according to the mode of nature it comes in contact with. As we saw, the modes of nature are what they are puppeteer. They are going to have the thread on each of the person to make them dance. Then we seek happiness on material platform according to our conditioning. So when we say conditioned soul, at this point he has not understood that he is a soul. So he is looking himself as a body. Then what he does, based on the whatever the modes drives him, he is trying to find happiness. As we saw, the person in mode of goodness is going to be happy if the misery decreases. And the person in mode of ignorance is going to be happy even if there are more miseries. So that is the way they seek happiness. We are forced to helplessly act according to the impulses born of the modes of nature. So he is helpless because he is recognizing himself as a body. So now he is helpless unless he is educated. As we saw the very first question, who am I? Understanding the soul. Till that time he will be helpless and he will be just dancing as per the modes. Impure desires born of the three modes pervert our pure spiritual nature. So this answers our question. Basically soul is pure, then why it is doing such thing? Because of the modes of nature. The Lord, when creating the universe, he has given us this mode of nature so that we can act according to this. After giving the illusion, this comes free, where this mode of nature as per desire pulls us and makes us dance. Thus, the soul is forced to take birth again and again in this material world. So, this cycle goes on. So, here he performs some activities, and based on the results, he is going to get a new body. So, what we started with is in this topic, who is going to decide the new body that I am going to get? So, these activities performed under these three modes, it is going to decide which body I am going to get. So now the question will be, what is the, sometimes babies are born with small limbs, some are born with conditions. What is the reason? Is the God impartial? So now the answer will take us to the second topic, which is karma. So we talk about good activities, bad activities. Each one of us have little bit knowledge about this, but we will try to see the definition what the scriptures give about karma. Activities performed by the living entity, conditioned by three modes under the control and purview of time. So these activities, whatever was performed under the three modes, is karma, because it is going to give us some reaction as well. The law of karma, everybody knows Newton's third law. Every action gives the equal reaction. So here, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. As you sow, you reap. So whatever action we have performed, it is going to come back to us. We are accountable for everything we think, speak and do. So all these three things are going to influence. Therefore, we must be aware of the consequences of the activities we perform. But now the question will be, what to perform and how to perform these activities. So we go on to the next question that comes usually. When we talk about activities, people say, okay, we understood something is happening, but he has always been good in his life, but why such bad things are happening? Others may say, why good things are happening to bad people? Because of the enviousness, people may question that also, but we'll come to a general question. So that is because of the reaction. Whatever the activities have been performed, the reaction comes. The reaction can take any time. How do we understand? The seeds that we sow of different plant. Example as given here, mango, it will take 5 years. Coconut, it may take 10 years. We cannot say all the plants are going to take the same time, immediately it will come, nothing. Similarly, the actions. So how do we understand that? We'll go in depth. Another example. Different activities will give different results. Some reactions are immediate. Suppose you slap somebody, what will happen? He will slap you immediately. So that reaction is immediate. But if a person murders somebody, what happens? The case will go on. Immediately, what will happen? It will go on even after 2 years, the result will come. And then he may say, you have done the mistake, so you have to be hung, you must be hanged to death. So this kind of punishment can come even after 2 years. So similarly, the actions we perform, it will take time, the results may not be seen. Now, the person has committed some murder and then he has come home. The camera has captured this blue shirt person has done this. When they come home, all this police, they will say, you have done this crime, so you should be arrested. He says, you saw the camera properly? In that the person was wearing blue shirt. Now I am wearing red shirt. So how can you catch me? It's not applicable, right? Because the person has done that. Blue shirt or red shirt, that person has done, it is captured. Similarly, what happens when the soul moves from one body to another? It cannot say, I did that activity in that body, now you cannot punish me in this body. That activity, whatever result, it has to be given in any body. So, any time, any lifetime, that result may come. In the next lifetime, maybe after 5 lifetimes, the results can come. So, the question, why bad things happen to good people. They will say, I have not done anything in this life, but what you have done before, nobody knows. So that gives the result of this karma. So good karma, bad karma. So what we should do, good karma or bad karma? Good, how many say good? How many say bad? Bad, nobody will say good, but both are wrong. Good karma is also not going to help us. Because if you see example of Duryodhan, he also did karma and then he was ruling the kingdom very nicely. He didn't give the place for Pandavas, but as far as the kingdom is concerned, he was doing good, and whatever pious activities used to require all the yajna he was doing. Then what is the problem? We'll try to understand after going through further. So both these are going to keep us binding in this world. So we'll try to understand a little bit about the karma before we understand what activity we should do. Applicable only to human. So we cannot say this tiger and kill this lamb that life, so it has to get punishment. No, it doesn't apply. This rules, karma, law of karma is applicable only for human beings. And then if they do sinful activities, then what happens? They may get a lower birth, or even the activities are so sinful, then he will go to lower planets. And if he had done pious activities, he will get a better birth. He can become a devta also, or he can get a very rich family, whatever. So mediocre, if he has done some activities, kind of normal karmic activities, then he can get a human birth. And in that human birth, how much he suffers and how much he enjoys depends on the actions he has performed. So, before understanding this, I'll go to this other topic here. Type of karma. Type of karma, there are three types of karma. One is as per the scriptural directions. We do and we get whatever that is, we can say it can come under pious activities. Second, vikarma. Against scriptures, if somebody does, that is vikarma. And the third one, akarma, is for which one does not suffer any reaction. How do we understand this? We'll take again simple analogy. Nowadays there are department stores where everything is available. Initially it used to be only in foreign countries. Now even in India we have experienced big malls where in a single department stores you can take a trolley, you can go inside and then take whatever you want, come out. We'll talk about three people. One person took the trolley, he went inside, he took whatever he wants. He took grocery, clothes, like it's available in a single department. Now he went to the counter. What they did, they saw whatever he bought and then they showed him the bill. He paid and then he left. Second person, he takes a trolley. But what is he says shoplifter? You know what is shoplifting? What they do, they go to a shop and if nobody sees, take something, put in their pocket. That is the reason we see most of the time the bags are taken away from us so that we don't keep anything in the bag. But this person has a very good technique to do such thing. So he takes a trolley and sees what type of item can be taken, maybe in the shirt pocket where he can insert certain things. And then he tries to go. First of all, he tries to run away with the items. There in the counter he is caught. The counter they say, how come without paying you are going? So they call the police and make sure he is arrested. This person is taken care of that way. The first person took the things, he paid, he left. The other person tried to shoplift, he tried to run away with the items, he was caught, he was put into jail. The third person, brings a trolley, he puts all the items, whatever he wants, and then he goes past the counter. And here, what is expected? The counter person doesn't generate any bill. They say immediately, thank you for shopping. And the person goes away with the trolley with all the things. Why? Because he was servant of the owner of the shop. If he is shopping something, it is for the master he is doing. So owner of the shop will not be charged anything. So he was left as. So that is the third type, akarma. So whatever one does, if they do for the master, for the Lord, automatically there will be no reaction. So in this analogy, we saw all the activities done for the Lord is not going to bind us. So that is reason, now going back to our question, good karma, bad karma. Both good and bad karma is going to bind us. Because somebody will say, if I have done good karma, why it is binding? Because you have done something, you have to be given credit for that. So either you come in as a human being, enjoy a rich family life, or go to higher planetary system, enjoy there. So your enjoyment is guaranteed. You have to enjoy somewhere. So that kind of body will be given. But that binds us. So if somebody doesn't want to be bound to this material world, then what they have to do? Akarma. Where they do everything keeping Krishna as center and they are able to go to his abode directly. So now we will talk about the karma. How does it generally happen? Many times we see there is a big air crash or some kind of big mishap. Then people will think what is happening, why it is happening, all of them together. Because what happens is they have accumulated those type of karma by doing different activities. And at this time the reaction to them is something same. That's the reason they are getting whatever the reaction at the same time. So that will be that way. So every individual karma is always individual. The reaction they get will be, may be collective. Ignorance of the law is no excuse to escape. This again, it's a very simple logic. Like if a child goes to fire, it cannot say I don't know, it will burn. So they cannot say I don't know the law of karma, please explain, then only the reaction can come. Whatever the action is performed, the reaction comes immediately. And then if everything is predestined, then why work? Because everyone says even a blade of grass cannot move without the Lord's permission. Then we are talking about karma, it is we already taken care of, some reactions is going to happen that I am going to get. Then what is the thing, what I have got to do? So we need to understand what is the free will that we have got. We can again take an analogy. A person has booked a ticket from Mumbai to Bangalore for a flight. So now his destiny is fixed. Hopefully the plane reaches properly so he can get to the destination. Now during the flight, what he does is up to him. So what he can do is he can just be peaceful and then just travel. And then another is like he can drink whatever is given to him, some juice, he can enjoy the entire flight. The third, he can take out a gun and hijack the flight. So whatever activities he is doing during the flight, he is going to judge his next destiny. So this destiny was already there for him, Mumbai to Bangalore. But what he does in the plane is going to give him the reaction of the next, whether he's going to jail or what is going to happen, it's going to decide for him. So that is the free will, that control we have, what we desire, what we do within the boundaries. So somebody will say, I have done this kind of bad karma, now I will do charity. Will it cancel? No. Good karma and bad karma does not cancel each other. If you see, there is a famous pastime also in Krishna book, King Riga. We will not go in depth. He did pious activity of charity and he did mistake of giving a cow what was already given to a person to another person. So that is a very wrong thing. Whatever has been donated should not be donated again to a different person. And then the pious activity was, he was always doing charity, the pious activity, everything was doing as per the Vedas. But when he was about to leave the body, he was given a choice. Now you have done this wrong activity of donating this cow which was already donated. So what do you want to do? You want to suffer hellish life or do you want to enjoy? So what this person said, let me first get all my bad activities done. So what happened? He took a body of big lizard. And later on, the story past time, how Krishna came and delivered him. So this way, that was just a quick example for showing how good karma and bad karma does not cancel each other. Both are binding, whether we good. So somebody will say, if I have done something good and something bad, what will happen? So example is, one person has done so much sinful activities and then he does charity and everything, and another person does only sinful activities. So what happens? Both of them get a body of dog, but the difference is the charity person gets to ride in a Mercedes, and then this dog, when we see it's happily riding in Mercedes, and then when it is coming across and then by mistake what happens? The car runs over another dog. This another person who got a dog body has become a street dog and it is run by this other one. So both of them got the body of dog, but another enjoying in that dog body, whereas the other is suffering. This is a crude again example, but it will accumulate. Different types of activities are going to give us different kind of reaction and everything. So to escape this reaction, akarma must be performed so that there is no reaction. So now somebody will say, it's okay, let us be born again and again. At least somebody wants to enjoy. They will say, I won't try to do any sinful activity. I'll do all the activities, the pious activities. So let me be born again at least as a woman so that I'll enjoy. But as we saw in the very first beginning, what is the question? Why am I suffering? The suffering, there are real problems in our life, which is not either money problem or any hunger problem. The problems are classified as adhyatmic, means the distress which are given by body and mind. Many times everything might happen peacefully, but our mind will keep on disturbing us. What you are going to do, what is this? Or normally also the sickness comes. So those body, mind are classified as adhyatmic. Then adi bhautik, the suffering given by other living entities. What are those? In Mira Road, the famous problem that we have is mosquitoes. Other living entities comes under this category. Plus there are numerous. We may think he is a friend, but he may also cause some kind of problem for us. So sufferings offered by other living entities. Then adi daivika, the one we don't have control, flood, famine, everything comes. Who is controlling that? The devtas. So this kind of problem also comes. This is not, these three types of miseries are there throughout. But getting the birth itself is a problem. As described in Bhagavatam, birth is also not easy as we think. The child is actually suffering. If the mother eats pani puri, what happens? It's going to be pungent and it's going to suffer inside. Similarly, whenever it comes out, what is going to day one, people are going to expect it to cry. Because if the child cries, mother will be happy because the child is normal. So that way, even when it comes out, it has to cry. And then further, what happens after birth? The twin brother that always accompanies us when we take birth is death. Anytime it is waiting for us. So it is like somebody is given a plate of rasgulla, samosa, everything, and then gun is shown on his head. They say eat. What life will be able to enjoy is eating. So that is the life that we have. Like we are living, but anytime this death is waiting for us. And then of course they will say, okay, let it come when it comes. But again, old age is always there. And then the disease. Janma, and then Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. So these four. So overall, the problems specified by scriptures are 7 types. The bodily ones, the 7, the 4, birth, death, old age, disease, and Adhyatmik, Adhibhautika. So that is the reason we are talking about how to go out. Very start, what is the reason we saw we have come in? Because we want to move out. This material world, we want to move out. So this very body is given to us to take off, so that we move from here back to spiritual world. One person, what he was doing, he wanted to fly, so he took an aeroplane. And then he wanted to go home. He thought, why should I come down, take a cab, and then go? I'll take this aeroplane itself. So he was taking the aeroplane by the road. The traffic police came. He said, hey, what are you doing? You cannot take this plane to your home. There is no space in the road to fly this plane. Then that person said, then what I am supposed to do? This traffic police said, get down, take a cab and go to your house. So that is what happens when a person gets a human body and he tries to behave for, like he tries to enjoy for something. Suppose he wants to have a lot of sweet or something. Then what the Lord says, you take the body which helps you. Do not use this body. So he is given a body which helps him to fulfill his desire. So that is the reason the human body has to be used to take off back to the spiritual world. But if you try to enjoy, it will be given. For example, in the previous slide we had that. If somebody wants to go on sleeping, what happens? They get the polar bear. Polar bear, what it does, goes on sleeping for 6 months. So that way, the body is given whatever the person desires. So where we started was the very beginning. The soul moves one body. So the activities we saw. The activities what they perform, and then how it takes to the new body based on the desire and everything, we get a new body. So we understood what type of activities we have to do, a karma. Now we will move on to the third topic. Before moving there, okay, it's only time, and I have just reached the third topic. This one is a short topic because everyone is experiencing this day in day out. That is Kala. Here, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Kalosmi. So many people, if they see, I have not seen time, I have not seen Bhagwan, so they are seeing the energy, the time. Nobody can deny they are not seeing this in form, this energy. So if you see, it's Krishna's energy, and this is the most powerful force in the material world and ultimate among killers. So what does time do? It creates a transformation. Any living entity is going through these 6 types of transformation. First, it is born, then it grows, and then it stays for some time, then it reproduces, then slowly it dwindles, it decays, and at last it vanishes. So these 6 things we can see in all the living entities. It is not specific. But for non-living entity, all the 6 doesn't apply. For example, stable will be there, it will get dwindled, it will go away. But it will not create another table. So that way, these symptoms are there only for the jiva. So this way we can understand how the influence of Kala takes place. Now we have seen akarma takes away the reaction. So now I had no reaction. How do I make sure I go back to the spiritual world? This is in Bhagavad Gita. Antakalecha mameva smaran mukva kalevaram ya prayati samadbhavam yati nashtiyata samshaya. And whoever at the time of death quits his body remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. So this has been given by Krishna, saying at the time of death, you go on thinking about me, you will come back to me. So he has not accumulated any karma because he has done a karma. And at the time of death, he has been thinking, and then he is able to go back to Godhead because he is thinking. Now what happens? This actually, there is a pastime in Srimad Bhagavatam, Ajamil. Ajamila, what he does, in the beginning he is a very good Brahman boy. He is serving his father, he does all the pious activities. He goes to forest for searching more flowers, but there he is seeing a prostitute and a man enjoying. So what happens? His mind gets distracted. Now he comes home and then he feels that I have to enjoy more. So now what happens? He goes on contemplating on marrying this prostitute, and then he actually marries that prostitute. He has got distracted now. Now, how to serve the prostitute, how he can get the family done. So he becomes a dacoit, becomes like he plunders everything. In the end, what happens? He has actually named his last son as Narayana. So when he's actually in the deathbed, when he sees the Yamaduta, he shouts Narayana, because he is so fond of Narayan, his son. Whenever he eats, he calls his son Narayana, he also takes. So Narayan, he goes on talking. So at the time of death, when he sees the Yamaduta, he is afraid, and this one he calls Narayana. Then what happens? Vishnuduta comes. Vishnuduta says, he has taken the name of Narayan, you cannot take him. So that is the argument between Yamaduta and Vishnuduta. Finally, the Vishnuduta wins and they drive off the Yamaduta. Then the story goes on, he performs, he realizes what mistake he has done. Since he had done pious activities, he has been able to, and the Narayan which he had uttered at the time of leaving the body, Vishnudutas came and helped him. Now this story is narrated by a sage to a rich man. He's a businessman. Now the businessman understood, oh, at the time of death I have to take the name of the Lord. It is so simple. So what he did, all the children he had named Achyuta, Madhava, Keshava. So at the time of his death, he was so suffering. Now he knew what he has to do. He has to call his sons. Achyuta, Madhava, Keshava. Everyone came. Then he said, if all of you come, what is happening to my business? And then he left his body. So now, instead of taking Lord's name, he was thinking about the business. So what it is said? Life is a preparation, death is examination. So throughout the life, if he has been not having anything for Krishna, then what is going to happen? At the time of death, he is going to suffer. It's the examination. So with that, I have covered the three topics. This is one more shloka. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajati ante kalevaram. So in that, Krishna promised, if you are thinking about me, you will come to me. Here he says, whatever you think, you will get that state without faith. So if they think in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is another pastime which is mentioned. King Bharata thinks about a deer and gets a deer body. So that way, the body, what one gets, depends on the type of life he has led and what in the end is thinking. So, as per our today's quota, we have covered these three topics. I know it was a little bit heavy. Any questions related to this? If anybody is having, quickly we will take up one or two questions related to this subject. Previous one we will address. Any related to this we will take up first. Mataji. You have to on.
Hello.
It's on.
उधर on नहीं किया. Yeah.
People from other religion, do they also face karma, or is it for Hindus? I mean, Sanatan Dharma people. Karma, is it for the Muslims? Do they do so much jihad and all? Or karma applies to them?
This law of karma is for all human beings, irrespective of the way we started this course. As Prabhuji said, Sanatan Dharma is the dharma of all human beings. It is not nothing Hindu, Muslim, Christian. It is Sanatan Dharma. That is number one. So as we discussed in the previous, does God exist? In that we saw the religions are given for them to take up the higher, like at least be a human being, and then you can understand more, and then take up, can go up to the spiritual world. At least you be a human being so that you get a human birth next. So this religion, so-called Muslim Christianity, it takes to a level at least you can behave as a human being.
The jihad that they do, killing innocent people, what type of karma can that be? That is the extreme karma?
Yes, that is impious karma. Because unless it is stated in scriptures, if you do something on your own concoction, it is going to take against you. And whatever has been given by this scriptures, like for it is taking us to a better level, and then finally we have to attain the love of God. So yesterday we saw wherever it is, messenger of God, son of God, all have given them so that they can become a human being proper, and then take up Krishna consciousness or God consciousness. In no scriptures which is not concocted or speculated by anybody, it doesn't tell. Like even we spoke of not what about a human being. We spoke. Srila Prabhupada always argued with the French or this one minister Pope, saying in your Bible it is said thou shall not kill, thou shall not kill. But even then you all eat meat. So how does that support what you are doing? So the point is, the person said thou shall not kill means only we should not kill human beings. Prabhupada said it's nothing written that you should not kill means any entity. Then how you are permitted to kill? So question of human being is the last one. First of all, any killing is prohibited. Even an insect, even a mosquito killing is prohibited. Only self-defense is allowed.
Question? Okay, so
Yeah, you wanted some yesterday's session.
So yesterday Prabhu said everything come from Krishna. So where does Radharani?
Who is Srimati Radharani? It's a very big topic, but to give in short, Srimati Radharani is nobody but internal energy of Krishna. So yesterday, many times we have seen example for different context, a source of light and the light itself. So we are talking about energy and the energetic. Energetic is Lord Krishna, and the energy, internal energy, Srimati Radharani. So both are one and the same. But for his own enjoyment, he has created a personification so that he can fulfill the job. So Lord can do anything he expects. So if nobody has any question, yeah.
Hare Krishna Krishna Guruji. As you said, killing of insects is also prohibited. Then what about using of those mosquito repellents and even the pest control methods that are there? Even they should not be used.
See, again, there are different things. Like net, it's going to help you. Repellent, again, how exactly it works with it. If it's going to repel, it's not because of this one, it doesn't come, it's fine. But if it is going to catch and then kill it, then it's a problem. This is the way the Vedas says. Now, how much it is going to, we can think like how much we are going to get affected. So we'll think of the Lord and then take His name so that Srila Prabhupada takes us back. That is only way we have. That's why we will talk about more of practical application. Chanting will be one of them, but there are many things that we need to discuss in tomorrow's session. But one thing I will just give an example. Many things theoretically, you have taken the notes. If we ask question, everybody will to say proof of existence, many things. But what actually we are supposed to do, how we are supposed to apply Bhagavad Gita, we will talk about tomorrow. So one small example I'll give. If we just theoretically know and if you are not able to practice, there was a group of like birds and there was a parent of the bird. So it was trying to protect the birds, the small birds, saying, please be careful. शिकारी आएगा एंड जाल डालेगा, वो क्या करेगा, दाना डालेगा एंड जाल बिछा के लेके जाएगा. So he told these three sentences through all the birds. So they went on repeating. शिकारी आएगा, दाना डालेगा, जाल बिछा के लेके जाएगा. And then शिकारी came, he put the net, and then even the dana, the birds ate, but it was repeating. So the shikari took and went with all the small birds. So if we just at lip level we go on, we know everything theoretically. If we don't apply, then we will be in trouble. So we need to see more about the practical application. So tomorrow last session we will talk about the practical application, what Bhagavad Gita. After giving all this knowledge, why am I suffering? Who am I? Having understood this, we will try to see the ultimate application. How do I apply? So we are not going to change something from what we are doing. We will continue and then see, and we can address questions, whatever we find difficulty. Some of you might be knowing, practicing, but even then there will be many queries which we will discuss tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So we will end with this question and maybe rest will take tomorrow.
Hare Krishna Guruji, you told that the law of karma is only for humans. So if we migrate from one body to another, so the animal body, so there is no law of karma. So from that body, how we migrate to next body? Well, how it will be decided?
That will take its own course. Depending, suppose you have done some kind of activity, so that gives you animal life so many years. After that, you will come. So you may go to hellish planets, take up animals. So it is said somebody doing more sinful activities that they cannot take any bodies. Then all the hellish punishments are mentioned. How they are put into a hot iron, this everything. So then it is said they are given training if they want to take a birth of dog, because they have been human and they have been suffering in hell. So if they have to take a birth of dog or a pig will be eating stool and all. So how they can take a birth? So they are given training. So they come over here and they are happy after taking a body of pig. So that way goes on. Then they evolve based on their karma. They get so many years of suffering. Actually, that's suffering. The pig is happy, but it is suffering. So that way, after that kind of suffering, later on, it may get back a woman if some sukriti happens. So that's the reason for it. We will discuss further tomorrow. In Vedas, everything is given for the upliftment of any living entity. For example, Ashwamedha Yajna was done. Ashwamedha Yajna, actually horse is being killed, but the intention is it will get a better birth. Normally the horse will be going over there, nothing will happen. But since the horse is getting killed in the sacrifice, the mantras are uttered, the horse is going to get a better birth in the next life. So that is the reason those killings were sanctified as per the Vedic. So we can discuss this further, how the Vedas permitting killing, and we just discussed not to kill. So everything in Vedas, whatever is given to us, is how to go out to spiritual world, how to get out of this material world. Hare Krishna.
We thank you for listening to the lecture. And we also thank Prabhuji for giving such a nice and lucid presentation that we can understand it so easily. So we will honor the group with Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we will give out the